Let's bring in Jon Heyman. John, welcome. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Mike?
All right, John, let's get to it from the Yankees' standpoint. Do you believe the Yankees are going to throw caution to the wind and really attack this? Is that your thoughts for the offseason here?
Yeah, they're attacking it. There's no question about it. Hal Steinbrenner will be down there. They'll have owners' meetings as well, and he's already set up to sit in on some of the meetings with some of the bigger agents. And right now, they're looking at 12 big names that they are looking at, and I know they're going to want to get under $189 million, but they have around $100 million coming off the books, depending on what happens with A-Rod. So obviously we know Cano, but there are 11 other guys whose names I have that they are looking at, and they're basically all the big names except for some reason Irvin Santana. Actually, not for some reason. They believe that he may not be the perfect fit for New York.
All right, let's touch on some guys and tell me if you think the Yankees are the favorites or somebody else. Tanaka.
Yeah, I think the Yankees are the favorites, but they're going to go up against the Dodgers there, so it should be very interesting.
All right, Chu.
I think they're a favorite at this point. I picked Houston. I thought they would come out and do like a Jason Worth type deal, a team that needs one big star, loves that on base, but I think the Yankees could be a favorite there.
McCann.
I wouldn't pick them as the favorite just because he's playing in Atlanta from Georgia, so Texas needs a catcher. I'm picking Texas, but he's got the perfect storm. Texas, Angels, Boston, Yankees, 4 big American League teams with the DH obviously available, all interested.
Yankees' favorite in the outfield would be Chu over Ellsbury and Beltran. Would that be the way you look at it?
Yeah, those are the 3 guys. So they're looking at the 3 best outfielders available, all 3 of them. I think that by a smidgen they like Chu over Ellsbury, but they're willing to look at Ellsbury, which is interesting. They'd have to move Brett Gardner, obviously.
I'm surprised they would be interested in Ellsbury, so they would be, huh?
Yeah, they're definitely interested in Ellsbury, but I was told by a hair we like Chu a little bit better, and if that's true, I would think Ellsbury will go somewhere else because I think Ellsbury gets more. I've heard other GMs with the 423 on base of Chu who like Chu more. The Mets are included in that group, but I do think Ellsbury gets more.
I think so, too. I think Ellsbury is a better player myself. I know he's more brittle. I think why? I think he hits left-handed pitching better than Chu does. That's why.
You're right. I'm with you. Chu didn't hit a homer against the lefty until the playoffs. I don't see the flaw in Ellsbury is, as you said, a little bit fragile. Other than that, very dynamic, leadoff hitter, center field. The thing with him is, though, that Carl Crawford deal is out there from a few years ago, $142 million. This is a guy willing to play center. Crawford was never willing to play center, even though he could do it. This is a guy who's always been willing and good at leadoff. Crawford only batted leadoff this year. Up until now, was not willing to do it. This is a guy who's done it in Boston. Crawford obviously could not do it in Boston. So there is a case to be made that he's as good as Carl Crawford. I know that most GMs will tell you he's not as good as Carl Crawford, but we will see come free agent time whether he is or not.
We're talking with Jon Heyman. Winter meetings, the GM meetings start Monday in Atlanta, and we'll get to the Mets in a minute. John, this one smacks of a little heresy. Will the Yankees go after Drew to protect themselves at shortstop?
They're going after Drew. There's no question about it. I know what you're saying, but they're not confident on Jeter.
Well, what do they tell Drew, though? What do they tell him? You might or might not be the shortstop?
Apparently. I don't think they're going to be dishonest with him. That would really be heresy. He obviously is an iconic player, but I think it's pretty clear they're talking about Drew. That doesn't mean they're going to get him. St. Louis needs a shortstop. I think the Dodgers will or intend to move Hanley to third base. Boston still has the qualifying offer. He will reject that, but he might want to go back there where they won the World Series. They'd still put Bogaerts at third, and obviously then Middlebrooks would be traded, more likely than go to first at that point. But
would the Yankees play Jeter at third base if A-Rod's not there next year? If they had Drew?
If they had Drew, they'd probably put Drew at
Drew at third and let Drew play third and play A-Rod and play Jeter at short?
I think so. Okay. I would think so. I mean, at this stage, Drew at
Drew's a better right now. Drew's a better fielder, no question. He's got more range than Jeter does right now.
Yeah, I think
this
Jeter's
stage.
better than other people and better than the better than the stat.
He's very sure-handed. He makes every play. He doesn't have the range he used to have, but he makes every play.
He makes every play. I still think healthy. He's good going to his right. He's good going back. He's good coming in. He's not great going to his left.
He's great on pop-ups. I agree. He's tremendous on pop-ups. I agree. I just think he's lost a little range, but he can still play the position. I don't think there's any question. So you think Drew would be okay with sliding over to third for the short term if he had to?
Yeah, it's free agency. It's about the money.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Do the Yankees back up Tanaka and go anywhere else? Do they look at a Garza? Do they look at any other pitchers that are out there?
Yeah, the names I've heard are Jimenez, Garza, Feldman, Arroyo, and Herron. They think Arroyo can be good in New York.
You know me, I like Bronson Arroyo. He's one of my old favorites. So I think he's going to wind up on the Yankees and the Mets, Bronson Arroyo. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy that people think can play in a big-time arena.
He can.
He's been in Cincinnati for the bulk of his career. He was good in Boston.
And he pitched well against the Yankees in those days. He really did. I think Arroyo would pitch here fine. Listen, he's going to have days where he gives up home runs, but it's not going to affect him, and he pitches a lot of innings, and he wins games.
Yeah, it probably works better if A-Rod's not on the roster at that moment, but I agree with you on everything else there.
All right. What is, in your mind, the most likely Yankee guy? Is it, if you could say right now, I think the Yankees will get this player, who would it be?
I think the two big ones we're looking at are Chu and Tanaka. If they land Chu and Tanaka, that's pretty good. And Cano, that would be pretty good. I mean, you want to get Cano back. I know he said, or at least somebody quoted him saying nobody's made an offer. That really doesn't matter at this point. The big players generally don't get offers.
I think Cano's going to be back anyway.
I think so. I don't want to say assume. You never know what might blow up. There are surprises in free agency, but he did hire Jay-Z.